The Sermon on the Mount is a collection of the teachings of Jesus, and the main body of the sermon is all about living in right relationship with God and others, what he calls a greater righteousness. In the third block of teachings, Jesus focuses on right relationships. This section has 3 parts, and the central block of teachings hones in on difficult relationships.
Now, there are 4 teachings in this section, and we're going to look at the first one, which begins like this.
Do not judge.
The Greek word for judge is krino, which can describe the act of deciding between what's good or bad. In this case, judging someone would be evaluating their behavior.
Wait, so do not evaluate anyone's behavior? What about when things go wrong in relationships? Shouldn't I evaluate what went wrong?
Yes, you totally should.
So then what does he mean? Do not judge.
Well, krino can also refer to making a final judgment. Not just evaluating a person's actions, but evaluating their worth. Jesus doesn't want his followers to pronounce that people are good or evil. Judgments like that are for God alone. A good word for this in English would be don't condemn.
I see, because condemning someone is basically acting as if I know what God knows.
Right. I mean, we judge people's actions based on what we can see on the outside. But underneath all of our behaviors are motives and desires and fears that no one else can see.
And condemning a person is acting like I have the authority to make that kind of call.
Right. You don't. And God will hold you accountable for judging that way. As Jesus goes on to say,
do not judge so that you will not be judged.
Now, Jesus could mean that condemning others will lead to other people condemning you back. But he's also talking here about God's final judgment. God will hold you accountable for the way that you treat other people.
Whoa, Jesus is serious.
He is. And to make his point really sink in, Jesus ends the teaching this way.
Because with the judgment that you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure that you measure, it will be measured to you.
So how is it that you want to be judged?
Well, if I'm honest, I hope that God will be patient with me and forgiving.
Exactly. So extend that same generosity to others. Jesus invites us to evaluate each other's behaviors in humility and in love, knowing that we are all flawed and in need of God's generous mercy. God is the only true impartial judge, and his justice will be applied fairly and equally to all. Until then, our role is to create right relationships with others by treating everyone with dignity.